Peepsy Doodles. So first of all, before we get into any kind of witchy things, I just wanted you all to know, if you haven't seen on Instagram, that it's my birthday. I'm an Aries, and so of course I'm going to tell you it's my birthday, and of course I'm going to be excited about my birthday. I am 30 years old today, on to the 30th of March, which makes it my golden birthday. I'm 30 on 30. And since no one of us can go anywhere, and it's really crappy outside, my daughter and I are celebrating here at home. I'm just doing some witchy things. She's chilling, helping me, relaxing. That's kind of what we got going on today. My husband spoiled me this past weekend, which was amazing. Him and Arya made cake and steak and breakfast casserole and all kinds of great stuff. So it was a really fun time. But one of the things that we did do yesterday that I've been wanting to do is we went out foraging before it got nasty and WildCrafting in my local area for different things for me to use, not only in the medicine herbal way of things, but also in the magical way of things. So I'm really excited to show you guys my little green witch area of the kitchen and show you guys some of the stuff that I found. So here are a few things that I have laying out drying. The rest of the stuff was dry enough for me to bottle. This is hemlock needles, not to be confused with the poisonous hemlock. These are a type of pine slash spruce. And so those needles are great in tea. And I also have some research to do as far as what kind of things to use for them magically. So I'll have a nice little jar of those, which I'm excited about. This I'm super pumped about. I absolutely love the smell of cedar. Cedar, especially up here with the Native American tribe, is used a ton in conjunction with like sage and Palo Santo for clearing and cleansing. The cedar, hang on, baby. The cedar tree has a beautiful scent to it, whether you're burning it or it's just sitting. So we found a bunch of these that were chewed up at the base of a tree, probably by a beaver, because the whole tree was just completely massacred. And so I won't be using this obviously for any medicinal purposes, but I am going to let this dry out and use some of the bigger pieces to burn as like their own little smudge sticks, and then some of the smaller pieces I'm going to grind up and use for loose incense. So this over here is the start of my little green witch corner of the kitchen, which makes me really happy. All of my box teas and stuff are way up there. So I'll just kind of go through these from the top down. So these are things that I collected yesterday. These are beech leaves. Now the beech tree can also be known as the goddess tree to some traditions. The ghost beech leaves, the reason they're called that is that these are kind of translucent. They're the dead leaves of the beech tree, and they hang on, a lot of them hang on all winter long. And so the beech tree is pretty noticeable because it's one of the only trees that actually still has its dead leaves hanging. And so you can forage these and it doesn't hurt the tree whatsoever because they're going to lose them anyway once the new tree or the new leaves start coming on. And so these are great for working with deity, for working with spirit, as is the bark of the tree to burn to kind of bring on spirit, or to use the twigs or the branches of the tree as a wand. And then you can also use the leaves as an infusion because beech trees are great for the skin. This is tamarack barks and twigs. Tamarack, I'm not going to tell you what it's for because I don't want a bunch of people going out and using it, because tamarack is also an extreme laxative. So I have the tamarack. It's used a ton by my tribe, or by the Native American tribe up here, which Kevin's a part of. So I'm excited to do some research on that as far as its magical properties. Birch bark, I found this naturally fallen. And so this is from the paper birch, and this is great for spell work, for writing spells on and then burning it. So I have that in there. These are a couple of tinctures that I have going. I have an oil infusion, and that is lavender oil, and I'll be mixing that with beeswax and turning that into a salve for the summertime for bug bites and sunburns and whatnot, dry skin and whatnot. This is a tamarack tincture that I used from the tamarack twigs and bark. And so I have that going. Down here are some of the herbs that I have. I have over a pound of lavender, so I just have a little bit of it in this jar. And I just finished my 2 weeks of learning about lavender in my Green Witch Living course. So I found out that lavender tea is amazing if I just use a half a teaspoon of it. Spearmint is here, chamomile is here. Chamomile is the next herb that I'm learning about in my Green Witch Living course. So that is the next one that I will be diving into these next couple weeks. Okay, sweetie. Rosemary and then elderberry, which elderberry, if you guys saw on one of my videos, I made elderberry syrup for all of us to take during the time of all this sickness. Down here, this was my eggshell protection blend, which I have more eggshells to blend up to make more of that. A couple different types of honey, teapot, tea ball, and then I also have, my daughter wanted some chamomile tea for a bellyache, so I have Nessie. She is a Loch Ness monster, and so she is also one of my tea infusers. Okay, so then hanging here, this is leaves from partridge berry, and so these are good for period cramps and to also help when labor is coming on. I'm obviously not in labor, but I do have periods, so we're gonna see how that works. So we're gonna dry some of these leaves and try them in a tea. This is so fuzzy and so amazing. You can see all the hemlock needles down there that fell, because this is where originally I was hanging my hemlock needles. But this is the berries from a sumac tree. And so these will not be used in any kind of medicine or medicinal thing. These berries I'll be kind of drying here, and then I'll be bottling them for magical purposes. If I want to use the sumac for medicinal, one of my herbal girlfriends told me to actually gather in the spring before they get all fuzzy. So that is just hanging for medicinal purposes. Not medicinal, sorry, magical. Magical purposes. Yeah, I have an abundance of eggshells. Hubby, like I said, made a breakfast scramble yesterday. And so I have eggshells drying so that I can powder that up. Eggshells, if you guys saw in one of my Ostara videos, are amazing for protection and protective purposes. So I'm really excited that, especially since I used up my eggshell protection blend, to be able to have a ton of eggshells to grind up and have a nice little abundance of them. And the snow is gone, and I'm so excited. It's kind of starting to green up over there. Like, you can just start seeing where it's starting to get green, and I'm so excited. These are my cedar trees here, the white cedar. I can actually use the cedar trees for quite a bit of things. And then way back there, we have a ton of white pine trees, which is great. Oh, my dog. Apparently my dog's outside. Hi, puppies. Hi, baby. What are you doing? Hi. Hi, big boy. Hi. Hi. Were you outside? I didn't even know. Hi, puppers. I didn't even know you was outside. Hi. So anyway, that is some of the things that we did yesterday, and some of the things that I have collected to kind of start to stock up my witchy cabinet. I have a ton of herbs downstairs, but I'm really excited to start using the herbs and the plants and the trees in my local area, and to figure out exactly what they're used for, both medicinally and magically. You know, there's a lot of people that feel like they can't use plants in their craft because they don't want to go out and spend the money. And while it can be expensive, it can be very expensive to go online and to buy a ton of herbs, a lot of times you can find things that are in your own yard or in your own area that do the same thing and have the same type of magical properties that, say, going online and finding, you know, Solomon seal or hawthorn or something like that that you maybe can't get in your area. You know, go outside and do your research and start looking. You know, my backyard, I've got poplar and different kinds of spruce and white pine, cedar, silver maple, red maple, eastern redbud. I have a giant burdock root in my backyard, or not, I'm sorry, a giant burdock, the greater burdock plant. which people harvest for the root, but the leaves and especially the burrs, you know, those little sticky burrs that get stuck to everything and stuck to your animals and they're a fucking pain in the ass. Those are great for protection because, you know, they're spiky. They're also great for getting things to stick to you or bring things to you or draw things to you because they stick to you. So you can use either of those. They're kind of like differing properties, but you can use them for either one depending on what exactly you're using them for. Isn't that great? My family put up balloons for me for my birthday. You know, you can use grass, like just regular old grass. If you look up the properties of just green grass, you can use that for a lot of different things. You can use the flowers in your area. You can use, there's so many things that you can literally look up online or in books, and every single green thing has a magical property to it. So try looking in your area and seeing what kind of things you can use, because it's huge and they're abundant and it helps you save money. And not only does it help you save money, but then you get a super cool little thing here. Like, look at these things here. These are things that I've collected on my own, and they still look witchy and they still look sweet. I know people have like this thing on making sure that they have this witchy aesthetic, and I am not immune to that. I love to have a witchy aesthetic in things that I do in my practice. So being able to harvest things from my own backyard, not spending any money doing it, knowing that it's for a great magical purpose, and it looking witchy is like perfect in my opinion. So anyway, I hope that you guys have an awesome day. Thank you for hanging out with me today on my birthday. 3-year-olds talk like nonstop. If any of you have 3-year-olds at home, or you know someone that has a 3-year-old at home during this quarantine, please check on them because they are not okay. No, I'm just kidding. Kinda. So, okay. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you very soon. Bye.